Yeah, okay, so please explain about REconomy more in detail.
Okay. So as I mentioned, the REconomy Project is all about economic relocalization.
Right.
We recognize that the global corporate consumer economic system is responsible for most of our big challenges around the world. And so at least part of the solution is economic relocalization. Where do you even start thinking about it? We formed our group in 2011, and one of the first projects that we undertook was something we call the Local Economic Blueprint.
Okay.
And the idea was to study the local economy and try to identify opportunities for more local production, more local ownership, more local accountability, things like that. So I'm just looking for some graphs. So we looked at the food system, for example, and we discovered that we spend about 30 million pounds a year on food, but most of it goes to the supermarket. And if it goes to the supermarket, that means that money is leaving the local area.
Right.
If people are spending money with local shops, that money tends to circulate locally longer in the local economy, producing more buying power, more income, which is good. So in this study, we looked at the food system, we looked at energy, we looked at housing, and we were able to kind of put a number on what it would be worth if we were successful in relocalizing some of these elements. And it turns out it's worth millions of pounds that could be invested in more local businesses, more local renewable energy, and so on. So this was a really good study, and it helped us to build relationships with other leaders in the town. One of those was the CEO of the local district council. So we said, okay, we've done this work. We want to create the conditions for supporting new enterprises, new economic actors of all kinds. You have this office space here that you're not using, give it to us. Don't charge us rent, and we'll turn it into a co-working and incubation space. And that's what we have here. We're sitting inside the REconomy Centre now. We've been here for 6 years. We don't pay rent. It's supported by a pay-what-you-can model. So kind of like a gift economy. So people are members here, and they work here. They offer workshops and things like that, and they pay what they can, and this keeps the center going. Really successful. One of the other projects that we do is something that we call the Local Entrepreneur Forum. And we've been doing this since the very beginning, so for 8 years now. And it's a big event. We invite people who are potential entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs, potential investors, experts and creative thinkers, really anybody who's interested in the local economy. We generally get about 130 or so people who come to these events. And it includes lots of networking and what we call open space. So people getting a chance to kind of learn what they need to learn and meet who they need to meet. This is really important for building confidence in people and also kind of sharing the know-how about how to do things. And then we have 4 entrepreneurs pitch to the investors. Everybody is an investor. It's really amazing. So someone will pitch their project, and then people will respond, you know, I'll loan you £1,000, or I'll give you £100, or I'll help you with your business plan, or I'll give you access to my professional network, or I'll help you with your marketing, or I'll make you a video, or I'll watch your kids while you go to a meeting, or I'll make you lunch, or I'll bake you a cake, or I'll give you a hug. So it's really nice. It gives everybody a chance to participate, and it gives us a chance to tell a new kind of story about what it means to be an entrepreneur and what it means to be an investor. And it's been really successful. And a couple years ago, we produced an impact report, which kind of details all of the positive impacts from these projects. And one of the things that we talk about in this report is the network of relationships that has developed amongst the people who have pitched. All these little circles are companies that have pitched, and they're all connected to one another. So we couldn't have designed that, we couldn't have predicted that, but it's happening, and it's proven to be really an important part of building resilience and building a new kind of economic system. And I just want to say a special thank you, since I mentioned this, to Erihiro Junko from Japan for Sustainability, and I think that's no longer going, but anyway, she provided the funding for this report, so it's another strong connection between Totnes and Japan.
Okay, well, that's fantastic.
Yeah. One of the other really nice things about what's happening here is that we're part of an international network. There are transition towns in 50 different countries, including lots and lots in Japan. I think there are 50 or 60 transition towns in Japan. And in terms of this REconomy work, there's also an international network. There's something that we have, which is a kind of a virtual network called the REconomy Community of Practice. You can find it on Facebook, REconomy Practitioners. We have about 400 members from about 30 or 40 different countries. And this is helping to spread the know-how, for example, of what we've learned how to do here, but also we're learning from groups who are doing similar things in other countries, and it's proven to be a really rich kind of learning network and helping to spread, you know, solutions.
Okay, great, thank you. Yeah, so you said REconomy is like a relocalization.
Yes.
So what is the difference between relocalization and localization? I mean, so it's not going back to the past model, which we had about 50 years ago or 100 years ago. You are redesigning the local economy slightly differently from the past model?
Yeah, relocalization, localization, in most places they mean the same thing.
The same thing, yeah.
Sometimes in the UK and in the United States we say relocalization.
Right.
And really it just means making things more local again.
Right.
But as you say, not going back to the past, but going into a future. We don't know exactly what the future will look like, but we know that we can begin doing things to strengthen the local economic system, produce more of our own needs from local resources, and that's the kind of thing, that's what is really meant there. Part of that, of course, is building local wealth, so building economic structures, new enterprises and so on that help to keep wealth in the town rather than leaking out of the town. So, you know, don't buy coffee at Starbucks because that money leaves the town. So we're trying to strengthen all of those ties and the supply chains locally.
Okay, thank you. Right. And also in the beginning I asked you a question about yourself. You moved here from California. So what made you come to Totnes, and why what made you get involved with Transition Initiative?
Well, I was living in San Francisco with my partner and our daughter, and in 1999 I was working in Silicon Valley in those days, but in 1999 the World Trade Organization had a big meeting in Seattle, and lots of people protested, and the police used violence, and it became known as the Battle in Seattle. And that kind of woke me up, and I realized that things really weren't going in a good direction, and I thought maybe I should change what I was doing too. And so I started looking for opportunities to make changes in my life, and then various other things happened, George Bush, 9/11 and so on, and I really made a big change in 2002. I started working for green and social companies, and eventually I started up something in the States. And then with the big financial crash, that business went down, and my partner is English, And we thought, well, this might be a good opportunity for us to move to England because her father was getting quite old. And we heard about Totnes because of transition, and we thought, well, we're coming from San Francisco. We're very plugged into permaculture and progressive community, and so maybe Totnes will be a good place for us. And we came, and it was. So we've stayed. So that was about 8 years ago, and I think we'll probably stay here the rest of our lives. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you very much. Well, that was Totnes holiday, visiting the town of Transition, and I just interviewed Jay from REconomy Centre, which is a part of a transition town Totnes. And I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you like it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And my name is Sachiaki Takamiya, the author of Ikigai Diet. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.